now the next panel is about tips and insights from the DigiEduHack steering group, and connected with us now Arjana Blazic and Petri Vuorimaa. Arjana is an expert on e-learning, teacher, trainer, and EdTech advisor, and Petri is vice head of education at Department of Computer Science at Aalto University. Hello to both of you, and also with us Ilona, Kish, and Jakub Grodecki. Ilona is the director of Public Libraries 2030, and Jakub is executive committee member of the European Students' Union. Hello to all of you.
Hello.
Hello.
So,
Hello,
yes, it works. Maybe before we get deeper into the discussion, Arjana, maybe you can tell us what is the steering group?
Well, hello everyone. Hello from Zagreb, Croatia. A steering group are experts from different countries who take part in and make a lot of different decisions regarding the hackathon. So we met last year for the first time and worked on the organization of this and last year's, and also on the organization of all the important things that we need to take care of when organizing the hackathon.
Nevertheless, the DigiEduHack format is quite new, Arjana, and you know how it was last year because you were organizing too. So, what do you hope for this year's DigiEduHack?
Well, first of all, I need to say that I'm delighted that we have so many participants this year as well, and especially delighted because we have so many school kids and teachers as well this year, many more than in the last year's edition. And I hope that all these new participants and but also all those who are joining us again for the second year will have a fantastic time inventing and creating, and also in collaborating with their team members. And I'm sure that they will come up with new innovative, or if I may say, groundbreaking solutions to their challenges.
Okay.
Because I believe that I'm sure they can do it.
Arjana, before I go on, I will let all panelists know if you want to refer on an answer to somebody, to anybody, just raise your hand and so I can see it better, because maybe the sound is not so clear, yeah? Just to let you know. So Arjana, what do you think is the best recipe for great teamwork?
Well, for teamwork, I would say that it is important that all team members feel comfortable to share their thinking, to share their ideas. So each team member should encourage the other team members to share whatever comes to their minds, because even if they think their ideas are useless or at this certain point don't make so much sense, they should be encouraged to share what they think, what they have come up with, and then talk about it. Because you never know how and when a crazy or a weird idea might inspire someone else on the team. So I think it is important that they share, that they talk to each other, but also that they are respectful and attentive to other team members' opinions and views, because teamwork is the key to success.
Of course, yeah. And do you personally have a strategy or technique you use to become more creative? Because it doesn't stop with the idea.
Of course, it doesn't. But sometimes, you know, when you feel that you have no inspiration, I would say that what I do is tell myself it's okay to feel so. But the most important thing is not to give up. Keep on doing it. It's a good thing to look at your idea from a different perspective or from a different angle, and to reframe it, to rethink about it. And I would also say that it's okay to make mistakes and then learn from your mistakes.
Okay, let's connect with Petri. Petri, the participants only have 2 days time. What do you think, or what would you say, what's the best way to deliver a really great idea with an implementation plan in this short period of time?
Yeah, it's of course a big challenge. How I would do it is first, of course, get familiar with all the material that is provided, and then try to find out who are the mentors of the challenge, who are organizing the challenge, and if you can get to have a Zoom meeting or something like that with the mentors of the challenge. That's sort of represents your customers in the beginning. And then I really recommend that you look what kind of existing solutions there already are in a similar kind of problem, and try to think who could be the potential users of your solution. Who are the potential end users? And focus on the end users. Think about the different kind of user groups. And there is a very good technique called personas that is an abstract definition of the potential users. So use this technique. If you are not familiar, Google what is persona, and then try to create some kind of prototype as early as possible. I know 2 days making a prototype is a big challenge, but you can start with anything, with just the sketches of user interface or anything. It can be a very low-fi prototype, but once you have something that you can show to people within your team and to your mentors, then you start to refine your idea and get forward.
Let's talk about feedback, because in a creative process, maybe it's really very, very important. You are regularly work together with many university partners. Can you give us tips for a good feedback culture?
Yeah, so I would say that prepare some kind of pitch. Give a pitch to your mentors, and then from mentors' side, I think it's important that the mentors really listen what the team is pitching early on. It can be the lo-fi prototype that they are pitching, and just listen and then try to ask questions. I think in the first it's perhaps imitating to start to tell how they should do the things, or what in your mind is the best solution. Instead, try to clarify what the team is aiming for and ask questions from the team, and then gradually start to give some kind of advice how you see that could be done.
Well, I've never experienced a hackathon, but I can imagine you are like really in a tunnel, deep concentration. So how often should the teams take time for feedback? Like every 2 hours, once a day?
I think, first of all, the team should give internal feedback. So when you get into the design process, you get into the flow and everybody starts to work on alone. Try to have a breaks together where you discuss how you are heading, just giving a heads up what is happening within the team, and then try to have at least a couple of meetings with the potential mentors of your team, or they could be some potential users from your friends or somewhere where you introduce your ideas. And I know that in many challenges, the teams, they participate, or many hackathons, the teams participate multiple challenges. So of course you could also see if there are other challenges that you could also discuss would your solution fit into that challenge and get additional feedback.
In every creative process, there's a moment when you get stuck, when you only see a big wall and nothing else. So how do you get out? What's your trick to get fresh ideas?
I think Arjana already get an excellent point that you should sort of have different perspectives to your solution. So try to look from other perspectives than your current solution. Are there more funnier ways to do that? Are there easier ways to do the thing, or perhaps faster ways than what you are aiming at the moment? Or there might be, you might have some role model in your life, and you can think how he would solve or she could solve the problem. Or you might think what would be a totally out of the box, totally different way to solve the problem. So having a different kind of perspectives, what you are doing.
You know what you're talking about because you were first with the DigiEduHack last year at Aalto. Thank you very much so far. Ilona, now we want to talk to you. Now, really a lot of participants all over the world are into the DigiEduHack and working on their challenges. What are your recommendations to all those in the hackathons who have only just met their teams?
I'm so inspired and in awe of what I've heard already, because I've also never been in a hackathon yet, and I'm really, really impressed. I think that what you just said, Petri, about having an existing solution, looking for existing solutions and building on that is really, really important. People often think they have to create everything from the start, and I think it's really good to build up from that. And I think that even in this sort of super pressured time frame, when I'm stuck for inspiration, I just go outside for a minute, I take a walk. If I'm at home, obviously I'll go with the dog, but I try and kind of sometimes changing the environment or the space, even for just 5 or 10 minutes. And then, like you're saying, think like a boss, you know, try and think like somebody who's just completely different to you. I think the role of the mentors is going to be really important as well, because, you know, when you're really in it, you're going to need somebody who's guiding and who can see, you know, perhaps just pushing people in different directions. So, you know, I think it's just going to be really exciting. And I'm just so excited we're going to be able to do this for a few more years to come, because a lot of us are new to this. And I'm really hoping that by this time next year, I will not be new to hackathons.
Yeah, okay. Because of Corona, a lot of people are sitting alone in front of their computer. So it's quite anonymous. How would you approach the situation of working together with people that you have never met before?
Yeah, I don't have an easy solution to that one. You know, I think that as the pandemic's gone on, we've really seen where collaborative projects have really suffered. And the ones where we knew each other before, the ones where we had existing relationships, some of which have been created in real life, you know, it's really made a difference. So I think, you know, trying to mix up the ways in which you're communicating, having some one-on-ones within the team as well that allow for like kind of some deep getting to know each other, like as if you had gone out for a cigarette or had a coffee, as well as in the team environment. For me, that really helps as well. And perhaps giving a bit more time, you know, like my generation, you know, on the phone rather than on the screen as well. Just talking to people in different ways, and just accepting that you're going to have to put more time into that, and maybe just learning different strategies of conflict management as well is quite interesting. Not having fights on email,
okay.
Keeping things in person is good, but it's tough.
And maybe you can take us into your personal like engagement and talk a little bit about public libraries or about the project Public Libraries 2030.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously it's been a very challenging time for the public library sector, and the public libraries are also one of the key places in which these people who feel alone are coming together and, you know, really meeting other people, building communities. And what we're doing in Public Libraries 2030 is really working with and promoting all of those really innovative and progressive public libraries that are expanding their activities and their mandates. You know, so it's not just about lending books, it's about supporting and creating communities. And within that, there's a lot of libraries that are doing essential work on basic digital skills. I think we all know that you can get online in a public library, that it will offer free Wi-Fi and possibly a computer, but many people bring in their own devices. And some of the bigger libraries will also have fab labs, maker spaces, which are ideal for hosting hackathons, prototyping both physical and ideas objects. So, you know, what we're really working with is this idea of libraries moving from a kind of lending space into a community and activity space. And that's why we're really excited to be involved in this program.
Yeah, Ilona, thank you. We go on that deeper later. Want to talk to Jakub now. Jakub, have you participated in a hackathon yet?
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. For that question, I must say I didn't participate in a hackathon yet, although I really enjoyed the process of us preparing this hackathon and being a part of this hackathon. I think the best experience that I could imagine being in a hackathon, it would be approach and the mindset of making things better, coming up with the attitude which allow to create, to inspire others, and actually build up on this very agile process which the hackathon is. But from my side also, regarding my thoughts about me participating in a hackathon, I would come with thinking out the solution which are oriented on the digital education. Those will be important to emphasize with the target groups for which we are designing our ideas with the hackathon. So one of the groups which is in the center of education are the learners, and definitely. So while hacking, the challenges which you have chosen, try to think of learner needs and the relations between the students, learners, and with the surroundings around it. So such as teachers, academia, building the environment that they're learning in. Think of digital spaces for learning, tools that maybe would help to integrate the class, and maybe student dormitories. It's important also to notice that the society is around us while figuring out the solutions while hacking. So think about the society outside the academia, how it's related to it. And whenever you think of it, put it the student-centered as a mindset while thinking of the ideas for the hackathon. So I would never participate in the hackathon, but that mindset would be my idea for approaching this task.
Despite the fact you haven't experienced a hackathon yet, we can talk about conflict situations, which are always happening in groups working creatively. So what's your tip for resolving these conflicts?
Yeah, I was thinking about this like as any other process that we are actually expecting on the different environment, not only in the hackathon. So first of all, I would react immediately, trying to find a mediator who will be able to solve the problems before something will actually set and fuel the conflict within the team. It's the same story with the conflicts with the hackathon that with any other conflicts in work or community environment. But here's the time, especially, is not an ally to the hacking teams. It's a limited amount of time. It's just 2 days. This is one of the most limited resources that participants have. So somehow we have to deal with it. And first of all, I would focus on creating a healthy working culture from the beginning of the work. So treating everybody in your team fairly and equally, providing them with praise and recognition, and be open and honest all times to all the participants within the team. Also, it's important to learn to spot the early signs of conflict. In the online hacking, it might be hard to read the team members' body language, like crossed arms or facial expressions, but at least try to identify the potential conflict rates and deal with solving the situation, like the earlier, the better. I think it would be also a good idea to develop rules for handling conflict. Of course, not like the structurized and very big rules, but the small rules that ensures that team members are listening to one another, respect each other's point of view, and refrain from interrupting each other. As you have the team set, it might be good to give a space for team members to reflect on what are their thoughts and the task they would like to be responsible for. There is nothing worse than actually working on something which you don't feel like doing. That's my tips for solving out the conflict issues from my side.
And this hackathon is not a short distance run, it's a marathon. So what's the best snack for prolonged sessions of idea hacking? Maybe everybody can answer this.
Yeah, I think it's one of the questions that actually applies to everybody separately. So before coming to the snacks itself, like be sure also not to dive deep into the party night before a hackathon. So watch out what you're doing today before tomorrow. You can't actually cheat the need for sleep, and energy drinks are unfortunately not the synonym here for sleeping. Use some vitamins. Some say it's the vitamin D one. But coming back to the snacks, I would say, like, regardless what if you're hacking from home or in the common space, there should be various snacks available for you, like 24 hours a day if you're hacking. It could be something sweet, salty, like a chips, nuts, cookies, and something healthy also, like fruit, granola bars.
I would die.
Eat what you like, definitely. Like, it's up to you. Listen to your body, but feel great while you're hacking and doing the nice things for all the society.
Okay, Jakub, thank you very much. And
thank you so much.
Talking about hackathons in general, I was wondering about the fact, is there any country in the world who is really far ahead when we are talking about hackathons? Maybe Petri?
I don't know. Our students every year organize a big hackathon junction, which was just organized a few weeks ago. It's a really big event, but hackathons are popular everywhere, I think. And you can use them for many different things, not just solving some computer program or something like that. It can solve different kind of problems. I think it's a modern way of solving problems in a society in general, and trying to speed up things and make new kind of ideas. So I think this is a format that will live on.
Maybe, I don't know, why is it that so less people know about hackathons? What do you think, Arjana?
Well, it's a new format, definitely. And whenever you have something new, it is difficult to reach out to all the audiences that might be interested in it. But I think we need to be persistent and not give up and do events like this one. And I'm sure next year we'll have even more people in our third DigiEduHack.
Maybe there is somebody of you should publish a book and put it in a public library, Ilona.
I think this idea of a social hackathon is great as well, you know. And I love to see books, but I love to see them happening in libraries, and I think that's when you know. And I'm definitely voting for the healthy snacks here. Lots of fruit, lots of nuts, that kind of thing. Yeah. Otherwise, you just it's red wine and cigarettes, but not for the school children.
So everybody got his
That's how you ride the revolution.
Yeah, right. Very, very funny. Does hackathons have the potential to make the world better, to make the world safer? Who's first?
Yeah. I mean, well, who knows, right? But I just think when you get collaborative work together, and when you're really focusing people on something that's innovative and that has social benefit, then it's a win-win, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Yeah, please, Arjana.
Yes, and also if you let people run their imagination wild, I think it also contributes to the success of their solutions and of hackathons in general.
Yes, the pandemic was a massive boost for hackathons. So, Jakub, what is the significance of this?
I think it's a very complex thing, especially when it comes to area of our work, because as we are representing students across the Europe, we are representing students from 40 countries in the European higher education area. We've noticed that the extent of and the kind of emergency mode of moving online when it comes to learning and teaching provision was a massive challenge for all the academia, for students within the whole world because of the situation. So definitely this hackathon, as it's focusing on the kind of learning provision, allows us to think of the solutions for the rethinking the learning. That's how students will learn, how the digital tools will impact the learning process, and what will actually the academia look in years, in 5, 10 years, and so on. We are learning differently. We are using different tools than it used to be 15 years ago. So that's amazing that this hackathon is happening, and it's directly focused on the learning methodologies, methods, learning tools, and hacking the challenges that we don't know yet which are those. Actually, we are all learning from this situation.
We are all learning, and this is an ongoing process which will never end. I thank you so much, Arjana. Thank you very, very much, Jakub, Ilona, and Petri. It was very, very inspiring, and there were many, many exciting insights, maybe helpful, maybe useful, also for our participants all over the world today and tomorrow. Have a good day, have a good evening, have a good night to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Good luck to everybody.